Africa Month, that is the month of May. This requires the mother continent to pause, reflect and celebrate our unique identity and cultural expression. The 2022 edition of Africa Month has been launched at the Umoja Afrika Carnival and Parade Centre. The purpose of the event to amplify a call to end xenophobic attitudes, expressions and behaviour. Our reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli there for us. Tumaole, good afternoon to you. What is the theme of this year's Africa Month?
Well, Stephen, the theme of this Africa Month was a theme of unity and integration, and basically Africans working together to achieve the visions of the African Union, visions of the founding fathers of the African Union and the founding fathers of Africa's liberation from colonialism, names like Kwame Nkrumah. And these were quotes that were given by Minister Nathi Mthethwa, the Arts and Culture as well as Sports Minister, saying that arts and culture and sports is an important tool that can be used to bring communities together. Now, the issue of the recent so-called xenophobic attacks that broke out in Diepsloot, leading to the death of one African national, fellow African national, that was also touched upon by those who engaged with Minister Nathi Mthethwa. In fact, those from the community of Diepsloot, including students, spoke very, very strongly about the fact that they feel government is letting them down in terms of integration in their communities, saying that they live together with various fellow brothers and sisters from other countries in Africa, but there are no programs to help everyone integrate together, and that people often live and work in silos, and this creates a very distant relationship between South Africans and, of course, their neighbors, who are literally living door to door or side by side next to them. Another issue that is that was raised very sharply was the issue that they feel that more needs to be done in terms of dialogues between people from various communities when there are disagreements or tensions that do flare up, and that government should do more. Something that Minister Nathi Mthethwa agreed to, saying that the launch of Africa Month will see various programs in communities like Diepsloot that will ensure through arts and culture, something that does not need any particular language to be spoken amongst those who participate, like music, like dance, like theatre, saying that in some of these artistic forms of expression they can find this synergy that is needed to try and integrate communities in the wake of Africa Month and going forward as the country and indeed, of course, the continent celebrates the diversity of Africa.
Tumaole, I mean, you know, of course, as well as I do, the situation we've had around xenophobia, the tensions that we've seen in certain communities in our country. How far did the minister go on this? I mean, it seems, there's certainly been recordings of other ministers in cabinet who maybe are not so keen to fight xenophobia, depending on how you look at it.
Well, certainly, Stephen, the issue of xenophobia also centers mainly around the issue of competition for resources. Now, what Minister Nathi Mthethwa was saying is that government is trying to do its best to ensure that even in communities whereby residents have been complaining, by residents I mean mostly South Africans who complain about the fact that they feel that their fellow African nationals, many of them who are competing for very scarce resources economically in the same communities, are not necessarily there under legal circumstances, saying that many of them are undocumented, and whenever the issue of criminality erupts, it's often the undocumented foreign nationals who are involved. Now, whether this is absolutely accurate or not, it is something that perhaps ministers in the security cluster would have better answers for, but Minister Nathi Mthethwa trying to answer that question, saying that it's not necessarily fair to put the blame for criminality squarely at the doorstep only of foreign nationals, saying that South African nationals are also involved in criminality, and that South African nationals are also involved in acts of violence against their own, and therefore that perspective must be brought in. But he's saying that he is speaking in his capacity as a cabinet minister with other ministers within the security cluster, within, of course, that will also include ministers of the Department of Home Affairs, to try and show up the country's borders, the country's porous borders, and the corruption that is being involved in the Home Affairs Department, or has been seen in the Home Affairs Department, has really led to this particular problem, and that many people who are here legally, and many people who are law-abiding citizens and participating and contributing to the South African economy as well by hiring locals and going into business partnerships with them, often bear the brunt because they are painted with the same brush as those who are not here legally, and those who unfortunately then also engage in criminality. This is something that Minister Nathi Mthethwa was saying that needs to be addressed, and these conversations need to happen in communities. And when the best place for these conversations to happen would be when communities get together and engage and exchange in cultural events like musical festivals, and cultural events like sporting events, something that his department will be looking to prioritize and to try and drive right across the country, particularly in communities that are worst affected by tensions between foreign nationals and locals, particularly communities, poorer communities like Diepsloot, like Alexandra, like Khayelitsha, where we've seen in the past those tensions rising up between the different nationals, including local nationals of South Africa.
And Tumaole Mohlaoli, I mean, obviously there's going to be several events around Africa Month. What more can we expect?
Well, we can certainly expect sporting events. What the Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Nathi Mthethwa was saying, that they will be rolling out sporting events, including tournaments like soccer tournaments, whereby the various locals in communities will then get to fly their flags high in their own unofficial international tournaments, so to speak. So that will be something to look forward to. But there will also be something for the artists themselves. These would be singers, these would be actors, the more stagecraft performers, and those will be also encouraged to exchange and basically, share what their national crafts are all about, and encourage others to learn and also collaborate amongst each other within their local communities. So this is something that will be rolled out right across the nation, and the Arts and Culture as well as Sports Department saying that they will announce when these programs will roll out and when these workshops will roll out as the month progresses.
Mohlaoli, thank you very much indeed. I think you've got some fans behind you. You might want to stop and greet them. I do appreciate the time. Tumaole Mohlaoli updating us on that. Well, as Tumaole Mohlaoli has been speaking to us,